Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this workshop for teachers and trainers on green skills in tourism and hospitality. For those who do not know me yet, my name is Sophie, and I am the coordinator of ASSET-H&C network, and I'm very pleased to see that so many of you have joined us today. So to co-facilitate this workshop with me this afternoon, I am very pleased to welcome Ms. Ayako Esaki, Training Director at the Global Sustainable Tourism Council. Ayako has worked actually for more than a decade in tourism professional training and education. And over the last few years, she has supported sustainability practices for tourism businesses and destinations by training on the topic hundreds of tourism professionals from around the world. So welcome, Ayako. I invite you to turn on your camera.
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Ayako. So, dear participants, in the next hour and a half, we will discuss how tourism educators like you can support the sustainable recovery of the tourism industry by equipping our students, the next generation of tourism workers, with green skills. So, as we all know, tourism is among the industries that have been hit hardest by the COVID-19 crisis. And everyone is now talking about building back better. But what does that mean? It means that tourism should not only be good for the economy, but also for the people who live in tourist destinations, and that it should not harm their environment. So today we will discuss about the skills that the workforce needs to make the industry more respectful of the environment. And of course, we know that this is a very serious topic. But that being said, we did our best to make the session as engaging as possible, despite the distance. And for this, you will be invited to join polls, quizzes, and most importantly, to interact with industry players who will share their insights. So now to kick off this session, let's watch a brief video. It's coming, just a few seconds.
Some call me nature. Others call me Mother Nature. I've been here for over 4.5 billion years, 22,500 times longer than you. I don't really need people, but people need me. Yes, your future depends on me. When I thrive, you thrive. When I falter, you falter. Or worse. But I've been here for eons. I have fed species greater than you, and I have starved species greater than you. My oceans, my soil, my flowing streams, my forests, they all can take you or leave you. How you choose to live each day, whether you regard or disregard me, doesn't really matter to me. One way or the other. Your actions will determine your fate, not mine. I am nature. I will go on. I am prepared to evolve. Are you?
So in the first part of the workshop, I'm inviting you to think about the big picture. Our environment is the most valuable resource that we have. It feeds us, gives us water to drink, air to breathe, etc. And any damage to the environment will ultimately damage our own health, well-being, and future. But more concretely, what does that mean for us in our daily life? Let's take a little quiz. So for this, you need to use another device, or if you are connected on your computer, you can simply open a separate internet session and connect to www.slido.com. And when you arrive on Slido page, you will see on the top of the screen a blue window where you will be requested to enter the code that appears on the screen, which is 880396. Or if you prefer, you can connect with the QR code that will appear in the next slide. And this will actually lead you to our first quiz. As a first step, you will be asked to write your name or a pseudo to join the competition. So we are giving you a few seconds to connect before we start with the first question. Those who were with us yesterday already know what to do, and I see that, yeah, some participants are already joining. Okay, well, as I speak, some people can still join us, but it seems that most of you are connected now, which is great. And in order to do the quiz, it's actually very simple. You just have to select the answer that you think is correct and to click on the send button. And to reach the higher score, it's a little bit less simple. You have not only to find the right answer, but you also have to be very fast. So I think that we are now ready to launch the first question. So let's start, and may the best one win. So first question. Wow, I see that the majority knew the answer. Indeed, based on the resources that we know are available for the moment, and we know that maybe we may find some more, but based on what we know, we should run out of oil by 2060. And if you are interested on our sources, we can always share them with you after the session. Let's move to the next question. Yes, 5 grams. So it means that every year you eat the equivalent of a credit card in terms of plastic. Who would have imagined it? Next question. $15 million indeed. Southeast Asia, as you probably know, is it's a region that is very prone to disasters. Next question. Okay, well, for this one, apparently it was a tough one. There are less people who found the right answer. And now we are about to show the final results and to discover who is the winner of this little quiz. Okay, so I see that the winner is Ha from La Boulangerie Française. Well done. I see that actually the second is Van from La Boulangerie Française as well. And then we have Oa, Huyen, and Tepi from Pio. Congratulations to all of you. Well done. So thank you for participation. Please stay connected on Slido as we will have more interactive activities on the platform later on. I hope that you enjoyed this first quiz. And most importantly, I hope that it was for you a source of reflection. The quiz actually gave some concrete examples of how environmental issues can affect our daily life. So the problem is particularly concerning for students because they grew up under global warming and they will spend the rest of their lives confronting its mounting negative impacts on food production, water supply. And this is particularly true for youth living in the global south, where a larger portion of the economy is concentrated in sectors sensitive to climate, like, for example, agriculture or tourism, and where the ability to adapt is more limited. So if we look at the situation, we realize that there are two main factors that negatively affect the environment. First, the human population on the planet keeps growing, and more people actually demand more resources and create more pollution. And most importantly, our economic model assumes that resources are limitless while they are not. And these factors actually relate to human activities. So the only way to fix the problem is for humans to change the way they do things. And this also applies to the tourism industry. So I am now giving the floor to Ayako for the next part of our workshop, during which we will have a closer look at the relation between tourism and environment. Ayako, over to you.
Thank you, Sophie. I hope that we are inspired to think about the environment. In this next segment, I would like to discuss with you the themes of tourism and the environment. So how the environment affects the tourism and how tourism affects the environment. To start with, I think that all of us agree that all of you based in Southeast Asia are blessed with beautiful nature. And that's part of your life, your everyday life, and that's part of tourism. The wildlife, the oceans, the beaches, the forests, those are the things that make a difference for you in your daily lives and for those that are lucky enough to visit your countries. To start again in this part, we have a few questions for you. So let's go to our quiz, our first question, again on Slido. If you can either go back if you have stayed there or if you haven't signed up yet, to go to the link and enter the code, and let's get set up to answer our first question. The link and the code is in the chat for those of you who haven't accessed it yet. And I hope everyone has our question already open. Our first question is, what is your dream holiday destination?
Okay, here are the results of the first question.
Good. Okay, so that was my vote as well. So nature park is the most popular one, followed by mountains and island, which all makes sense, and obviously culture and heritage being a really important part of all of your destinations. So shall we go to the next one? I think maybe some of you already have. Okay, so let's give others a few seconds just to vote on this as well. What do you like to do the most when you travel? I think we already have a clear winner. Given our audience of trainers and teachers and educators, that makes a lot of sense. Thanks for sharing and voting. It's great to see. We have a lot of explorers and learners. Our next question, you can see on the screen now. So thinking about this one, I think that is the correct answer to choose or guess and choose from. Among the trends among Chinese travelers, what percentage of Chinese travelers consider natural features and landscapes when they booked their last trip? So please try and guess which one you think is the right answer. Okay, great. So yes, I think a lot of you selected 36%. The culture and nature, as you can see the result, are two of the main reasons why Chinese travelers choose a destination. And given the importance of this market to all or most of Southeast Asian destinations, this gives us a really important insights into the importance of what we're talking about today, namely nature for tourism. So
yes, the correct answer was 42%.
Even more. Thank you. Yeah, so that shows that even higher percentage than we thought of Chinese travelers are interested in these things. And the fact that these are key decision-making factors for them, again, gives us a really important insights on what we're talking about. But let's step back a little bit and think about our topic, again, tourism and nature. the interconnectedness of these two themes. So as you can see here, tourism, our destinations, our well-being of our destinations, our ability to offer great experiences to visitors depends on having a healthy environment. Our nature, the places that we talked about, the beaches, the forests, and so on, these are important part of the tourism experiences that we offer. But at the same time, it's also important for us to realize that we're also affected by what happens when we have natural disasters and these crises that we're experiencing, and some of you have already been seeing. So these are the two sides of the relationship that we're looking at. And in our next slide, this is not new to any of you. These are some examples of environmental impacts, natural disasters that we can experience and have a lot of Southeast Asian destinations are experiencing in the last few years. And these are pictures that are shared from real places from some of your colleagues, as I understand, from Vietnam. This is the one on the right. And at the bottom, you can see the kitchen that's flooded, the typhoon damage from Vietnam, the picture some of you might even recognize. So these weather-related events, many of them are either caused by or intensified by the changing climates that we're experiencing. The droughts, typhoons, flood, rising sea levels, obviously, for coastal destinations, and in general, having higher temperatures. So the summer heat might be more intense, and so on and so forth. And because tourism depends on our assets remaining healthy, so the buildings, the places that we visit, the sites, these obviously have significant impacts on our ability to provide great experiences to our visitors that are seeking, as we've covered in our quiz, nature and culture, and to explore places. These are things our tourists are looking for. The destination's ability to offer these things depends, again, on having healthy environment. Let's go to our next topic, next slide, that gives an example, an insight into sort of the other side. So tourism is affected by natural disasters and other things that happen from the environment, but tourism is also a contributor to the damages that happen to the environment. So we're putting a lot of pressure on our natural places. As you can see in this picture, this is a very well-known example from Thailand that really experienced significant pressure from what we're now often calling over-tourism, when places are overrun by tourists beyond its capacity to accept impacts from human activities. So again, this highlights both sides of the topic, that we are really vulnerable to impacts from natural disasters, but at the same time, tourism activities are one of the major contributors to the factors that are causing some of these key environmental changes that we're seeing, such as extreme weather events. So we wanted to think a little bit about the negative impacts that tourism can have on nature, and would like to go to our next question, where we're going to ask you to share what you think or what you have seen as an example of negative impact of tourism on the environment. On Slido, now you should be able to see this question and type in your answer to submit, and we will see.
If you have several ideas, please don't hesitate to write multiple reply, or if you see a reply that you really like that someone has mentioned, please don't hesitate to repeat it, then the word will become bigger.
So pollution has been selected or given by many of you as one of the key negative impacts that you are seeing or you're experiencing or you think of when you think about the negative impacts of tourism. And that connects to what we talked about earlier, right? How many people globally are affected by air pollution, their health and so on. So this is of direct relevance to you, to all of you, in your communities, in your destinations, because you're also experiencing those impacts as well. And also you can see some of the smaller ones too. Garbage, plastic, waste is another key word. Impacts on diversity. That's also an important one. So given that I think many of you represent or live in or work in destinations that are popular for tourism in normal times, I think that the crowding of destinations, the places, or over tourism, as you mentioned a bit earlier, might also be something that you're experiencing, you're seeing in your own communities as well. Good. So since this, I think, was completed, thank you everyone for boarding and for sharing your insights. We can see already from your answers that there are many ways that tourism can negatively impact our environment or your local environment. These are some key areas that we can categorize what these impacts are. So the negative impacts on the natural resources that we depend on as tourism, such as water, forests, and so on. Pollution, that affects our air, but also air and water and these resources that we depend on, but also the experiences that we want to offer to our visitors, such as noise pollution and light pollution and so on as well. And the last part is degradation of loss of natural ecosystems and landscapes. So again, we addressed in our quiz earlier that these are the things that are key to visitors deciding on which destinations that they want to go to. So again, these highlight the important relationship between tourism and the environment. And we have as a way to wrap up and really highlight these points, we have a video to share with you.
We've loved holidays abroad ever since we've had enough time and money to go. In 1958, Boeing introduced the 707, and the number of international tourist arrivals has grown exponentially since. Today, there are over 1 billion tourists, and growth is set to continue with emerging new markets. The nature of tourism is unique among industries. We're selling a product that's not owned by anyone and is shared among many, a fragile product that needs protection. But tourism today operates in a price-driven market where margins are increasingly squeezed. If care isn't taken, quality is driven down and destinations degraded, and the opportunity to offer an enriched holiday experience to customers is missed. With a different, more sustainable approach, tourism can offer greater rewards for business and at the same time benefit the environment and communities living in destinations, and of course customers. The past decade has seen the world change rapidly, both economically and environmentally. The pressure for sustainable tourism has got greater and greater, and we can't turn back the clock. Customers now punish companies who don't operate responsibly. So it's time for a change. Time to make business as usual something different. When businesses start to actively care for the product, the people and the experience, something special happens. Doing things differently and doing them right. and creating real competitive advantage.
Now that we understand a little better the issue, let's talk about solutions and how, as teachers or trainers, we can be part of these solutions. So, initiatives to minimize tourism impact on the environment are emerging in the industry, and some of them are implemented by environmentally conscious professionals, and you will meet some of them in a couple of minutes. But some are also motivated by a growing trend in the sector. And this trend relates to the fact that the sector is increasingly held accountable by customers who are more and more concerned about sustainability. And COVID-19 has probably accelerated that phenomenon as it has made travelers more aware of their impact on the environment and local communities. According to the Future of Travel report by Booking.com, 53% of global travelers will be seeking more sustainable tourism products and services in the future. And as tourism and hospitality is a labor intensive industry, human resources are essential to adapt to this demand. So now we are going to ask some tourism professionals their opinion on this. So we have with us today 3 amazing speakers, and I am very pleased to welcome Ms. Alishit Pengsavan, who is Human Resources and Learning Manager at Maison Suvarnabhumi Hotel by Angsana, Mr. Nick Wade, General Manager at Kiri Travel in Vietnam, and Mr. John Roberts, Group Director for Sustainability and Conservation for Minor International. I invite our 3 speakers to turn on their camera. So hello, thank you very much for joining us today.
Yes, nice to be here.
So before starting our conversation, I would like to inform all participants in the audience that we will have a Q&A session at the end of the discussion. So please submit any question you may have for our speakers via the chat box. And now let's start with the first question for our 3 speakers. So you are all working for companies that have demonstrated dedication to environmental protection. Can you share with us the reasons of such commitment? Alishit, would you like to start maybe?
Okay. Hi, everyone. Just to share a little bit of my company first. Now, I'm working with this hotel for 13 years. Our hotel is under Banyan Tree Group. And then as a Banyan Tree Group, we established for 27 years. And then I would like to share our sustainability concept, where it's coming from. We are addressing 3 key pillars. The first one is conserve resource. The second one is embracing the environment. And then the third one is empowering people. And then we cascade our 3 pillars into the very simple 1 to 5 CSR concept. The first one is we look into resource conservation. What we are doing is we minimize and we monitor our water, electricity, and then we also doing the minimize our waste sent to the landfill. What we are doing at the moment, we also targeting to reduce the single-use plastic in the hotel. At the moment, as a group, Maison Suvarnabhumi at the 82% able to reduce the plastic in the hotel, which is we starting since 2017 up until now, but we still carry on until we can minimize the plastic use in 100%. That's it, our goal. Another one is CSR2 is greening community. Every year we are planting the tree, 2,000 trees. We starting this activities in 2007 up until now. We plant 21,226 trees around Luang Prabang, which is we plant at the school, university, temple, and then the government office. Another CSR tree is a seedling program. Seedling program is we sponsor a student. The student is for who is the needing and then have the difficulty in financial to go to the school. We try to prevent the student to drop out the school. Our student is we sponsor at the age of 12 until 18. That means during the high school program, they are with us. At the moment, we have 2 students with us. And then next year, we will get more students to coming into the program. Another one is a cleaning community. That means we go out to around Luang Prabang to clean the town. At the moment, we started this program starting in 2014 up until now. We clean around Luang Prabang like 58 times. And then we have more than 4,114 participants around Luang Prabang. Who is enjoy our activity is the staff from hotel, restaurant, and then the school, and then the people in the community. The last one, we have the guest engagement. We have like the activity for the guests that they can involve with the community, the environmental activity. All our CSR concept is aligned with 17 SDG. The SDG, you may know, mean Sustainable Development Goal. For example, the community cleaning, we align with the SDG 3, good health and well-being. And then SDG 11, sustainable city and community. And then SDG 13, climate change, and the SDG 17 is the partnership for the goal. Everything that we are doing, we cannot do alone. We have to work partnership with the school, with the government sector, even with our competitor. Thank you so much. You can have the question later for me. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Alichit. I'm now turning to John with the same question. Can you share about the motivations that push your company to work on these issues?
Well, first of all, I came to minor and to hospitality from a conservation background. So it's a very personal commitment for me. It's something that sustainability is something that I've been thinking about even before it became a word almost. I grew up I didn't grow up, but I had my first hospitality job in Chitwan National Park in Nepal. And that was pure conservation and working sustainably within the forest to be able to show guests and show people the wildlife, which would then, they would then pay the money to be there to help us conserve. So using sustainability to work along to direct funds to conservation is something that has been in my hospitality DNA, if you like. It's how I started out. I moved across to Minor in 2003, and Minor, in case you don't know, is a Thai-based company and mainly known for the Anantara and the Avani brands here in Asia. And so I've been working with them since 2003, and I guess their sustainability journey started, our sustainability journey started in 2008 with our first, in those days we were using Green Globe, but our first Global Sustainable Tourism Council recognized standard certifications. And I think back in 2008, the move to do that, the move to make that commitment to have every resort certified to a GSTC standard, and as I say, we're now at Green Growth 2050, was probably based on something we were talking about in the previous video, the acknowledgement that as a resort company, we sell, well, the video put it very nicely, but the way I always put it is we sell dreams. We bring people around the world, and our ability to provide what the guest wants to see. We need clean forests, we need clean water, we need beautiful sunsets, we need clean sea, we need to not have plastic floating up on our beaches. So we need a degree of sustainability. It's just good for business. If we don't, as the video said earlier, if we don't have these things, not only does our ecosystem break down and we are not able to continue living, but way back as far as in 2008, we became aware that we also didn't have a product to sell. People don't want to fly all the way around the world, land at a beautiful hotel. It doesn't matter how lovely your room is, how great your service is. If they're looking out onto a beach which is covered in plastic with dirty water floating everywhere, especially nowadays, they're going to take a photograph and nobody else will come. In 2008, it wasn't quite so instant, that sort of reaction, but we had noticed way back then that if we and the rest of the industry didn't do something and then push the community to do something, if we weren't leading by example, then we may not have a product to sell, and that would not make, just wouldn't work. Nowadays, times have moved on, and I think gladly everybody is becoming more and more aware. More and more people are becoming certified to ensure that they aren't polluting the environment, that they aren't part of the problem. And as it happens more and more, that will only increase as time moves on. But what we are also seeing as Minor, as part of a very, very large company that we are now, we have something like 500 hotels worldwide, we are very much in need of being able to work on the stock market. We are a registered company, and we need investors in our shares, we need investors in our stock. Sometimes we need to borrow money. And more of the big corporate lenders, more and more of the big corporate investors are requiring that we have sustainable policies and verified sustainable policies, certified sustainable policies built into our operating or built into our operations. And so it won't be very long. Well, one of the reasons that we are continuing, of course, we still acknowledge that we need to do good, to do well. We still acknowledge that we need to keep our product going. We still, from a personal commitment, I'm still doing it because I believe in saving the world. It seems grand, but that's what I believe in. But certainly from a business perspective, from some of the people who didn't perhaps possibly have that personal commitment before, some people who were thinking more about growth, more about the financial side of things of the tourism business, it's becoming impossible to do business on a large scale without actually having sustainability policies built into your way of operating. And those need to be, in certain cases nowadays, those need to be verified, those need to be reported. You have to do a sustainability report every year, and you have to not only, it has become, I guess, more than a nice thing to do, an essential thing to do just for the planet. It has become something that you need to do if you want to stay in business as a large company. And that is a very, very good thing. And that really bodes well for the future.
Thank you so much, John. I'm now moving to Nick. Can you share your own perspective on the motivation that pushed your company to work on that topic?
Sure. Thank you just quickly for letting me join the event today. Kiri Travel is an inbound DMC operating 99% of the time business to business. Started in Thailand 28 years ago now. So right from the very beginning, our focus was on the triple bottom line. So people, planet, and profit, but also recognizing that sustainability was a key driving force right from the beginning. We've kind of taken lots of different avenues. We've actually become Travel Life certified. Vietnam was actually the first DMC to be Travel Life certified, which is the highest level. And realistically, the goal was to make sure that as a DMC that was providing bespoke, local, authentic experiences, all the buzzwords, trying to do something a little bit different and working with local communities, that the impact that we were having on these communities and the environment that we were going to was a positive output. a positive impact. You know, we recognize as a DMC, an on-the-ground service provider, that our kind of tentacles, our spider web of partners spread very wide, from the clients who are traveling to the agents that we work with, predominantly in the UK, in Europe and the US, to third-party suppliers that we work with here, our staff, their families, and there is a lot that can be done. And in putting in a positive influence on all of these stakeholders was very, very important. Very similar to, you know, just to echo what John said, you know, for here in Vietnam, as is with every destination, Vietnam is my product. If there's no Vietnam, if Vietnam doesn't look great when people visit, we've got nothing to sell. So to kind of sum up realistically, our main intention and reasoning for being more sustainable and looking at this path is that we have a responsibility. You know, we bring thousands of people here every year, so making sure that the experiences they have, the memories that they have when they go back, and the impact that they have while they're here, as well as the people that we work with, is a positive one. It's part of all of our responsibilities, part of the as the network.
Thank you so much, Nick, and thank you, Alichit and John, for sharing your view on this first question. Ayako, over to you for the next one.
Thank you. So we would like to, this is also a question to all of you. We would like to ask, based on what you've shared with us in terms of your commitments and your company's commitments to sustainability, our question is, how do these commitments impact the way that you manage your staff, and how do you engage your staff in these sustainability efforts? Nick, if you would like to start.
Sure, I guess I'm unmuted, so I might as well continue. Yeah, I mean, for us, you know, so here in Vietnam, we have a number of different departments. So within each department, there are members of the staff who are part of our green team. So they work towards different goals, different projects that we work towards, but also as part of the travel life certification. You know, the certification is great. You get a lovely piece of paper, but to be certified at the highest level, you know, it's a 4-year process, realistically, to do it properly, to go through the different stages. And it's this process, putting all the staff through this, that really makes the difference. You know, looking at internally within your office, the different processes you're doing, and it's not just about the plastic that you're using, it's the ink, it's the paper, it's the electricity, all of this. Looking at our supply chain, so looking at our third-party suppliers, pushing them to be as sustainable as possible as well, is really huge. And this trickles down to the families of our staff as well. But also, you know, we can start to actually have an influence on the industry, say here in Vietnam, and, you know, for some national changes as well. Kiri was part of the co-founding member of a group called Impact Vietnam, which was basically bringing together a number of our competitors in the DMC world, and taking away that competitive edge, and working together on different projects and different goals. Simple, you know, even as simple as, you know, we all are buying recycled paper for our printers. Well, if 10 different DMCs are buying individually, we're causing more damage. So why not pull together and order as a bulk? Even little things like this, you know, take that competitive edge away from your businesses. You know, and to this end, you know, it doesn't matter whether it's in the sales team, in the product team. You know, when we focus on building new products, we always have that element of sustainability in mind. When we are choosing hotels, you know, like a lot of companies like mine, we have a preferred hotel list. So in different destinations around the country, we have our first, second, third choice. And every year they get a sustainability questionnaire that goes out to them. When we do site inspections, we are always looking at these and comparing what they've sent to us and what the reality is. But, you know, to me, the key here is that being sustainable, it's not that's not a position that you can actually attain. The whole point is that you're on a journey to becoming more sustainable. And as long as you're moving in that right direction, you know, that's a positive. You're not going to just suddenly change overnight and become zero waste. You know, it's a bit of a fallacy anyway, because if I look hard enough, I'll find some waste. But it's that journey, it's having that conscious mindset towards doing that. And that's what we try and drive into our staff.
Thank you, Nick, for sharing your engaged process and how you get staff on board. If we could go to John, to you now. With the same
yes, how we manage the staff. I mean, I think Nick makes a very good point that it's at least a 4-year process, and different aspects of it. I mean, I think the answer, the honest answer I'm going to give is with great difficulty. We haven't really worked out how to do it in an area where, if we're pushing for an area or a subject that staff are not personally motivated to help with. And there are so many aspects to sustainability. We can start with things like turning off lights and reducing energy. We can start with helping within the communities. We can start with waste separation and things like this. And it is very, very difficult in places where you have to get an entire team to behave in a certain way for a certain reason. It does depend slightly, being a global company, it does depend slightly where your baseline is. If we have a team that are, say, from Europe or from the Middle East, who are already by habit recycling their plastic, not throwing litter, then life becomes a lot easier to try to bring that sort of behavior into the hotel, into their work life. But maybe they are not so habitual in helping the community, for instance. What we found very, very difficult at the moment, to give an example, we are going through improving our waste separation, improving our waste management, improving our diversion to recycling, and reducing the waste that is going to landfill. And here in the Golden Triangle, having training sessions to try and ingrain the habit of separating waste, of not just throwing it, of understanding which different pieces of plastic are or what the different types of plastic that are out there. And it is proving incredibly difficult, because at the moment there's very, very little baseline. Whereas things like up here in the Golden Triangle, where I'm based, helping the community and that side of sustainability and planting trees actually has been very easy, because people are personally motivated to do it. So I'm going to be honest and say we haven't yet hit the nail on the head in changing behavior. And I think the only answer goes back to, again, what Nick said, which rang true with me, is that it's going to take 4 years, and we have to accept that it's going to take 4 years of constant retraining, a little bit of carrot, a little bit of, if you do this, you can win a prize. If you behave, the team that recycles the most plastic or the greatest percentage of recycling will win a prize. A little bit of stick, if we find out who's not separating the waste properly, their department are going to be in charge of the separation area for a little while. So carrot and stick, and to me, most important, as the guy who's pushing it forward, the face of it, actually throughout the group, but specifically because I live in this hotel, leading by example, making sure that people don't catch me with single-use plastic drinking cups or single-use plastic straws, even outside work. So if people come and see me in my downtime, they see me actually leading by example. But as I say, it's going to be a long process, and it's one of the reasons why I'm very glad that we have these seminars. We have you guys, the youth of the youth and the team of tomorrow, who are learning about this now, because we need your help, we need your ideas. And so yes, that's my answer. We try, but we haven't yet hit the nail on the head how to do. We know how to do the training, but the actual behavior change in a more efficient way is something we're going to have to work on over time.
Thank you, John, for your answer and for your honest views. Let's go to you, Elitus.
I would say I totally agree with Nick and John. It's a very long process to change the behavior. It's very long process. As my working because 13 years working in on sustainability is not easy. It's not easy to do. You cannot just snap the finger and then it's something to change the behavior. But I would say I am so lucky that I'm working under Banyan Tree Group because they have very concrete concept and the framework that all the hotel, we have like 48 hotels around the world. And then every hotel that follow the same concept, they're easy for us to follow and then to engage our associate. What we are doing is, since we are the gold certified, EarthCheck gold certified, we certify this for like since 2012, and then last year we got gold. It's not easy to change the behavior, to have all the record that we are doing, because we are benchmark our data and then benchmark, we are audit every year. It's so difficult to change behavior and then to keep all the data. How I engage with our associate is every department, we have roughly like 8-7 departments. Every department have representative from their department, and then we have a monthly meeting. Now we share what we are doing. For example, if we are doing the plastic reduction, we will aim, for example, in the kitchen, what we are going to do this month, what we are going to reduce this month. We have to set a goal and target for them for every department. But from time to time, I have to change my behavior or the way how I manage my staff, because sometimes, as John said, you cannot let them for the same thing in one day. You know, sometimes they do, sometimes they change the behavior. Even the separate the waste is sometimes it's correct, sometimes it's not correct. We have to keep telling every day. I would say we have the commitment of the company, but the person, the leader, have to have the commitment also. For myself, I'm very passionate about sustainability. That's why I'm working with this company. Aside of my HR learning, and then I spend a lot of time on sustainability and the community. This is make me enjoy my work more. And then to set a good role model, as John said, is very important. You have to set the right track, and then to see that, oh, this guy is doing the right, and then you give sometimes you have to give some incentive, you know, of the associate that do the right thing. And every time that we have the activity, for example, the cleaning community, we have to involve them with the activity. Make sure that they are coming. We have to make sure that their department head send the staff to join the activity, and then everything I recorded. Every staff come to the activity, they have to sign up, you know, every time. That's why we keep the record, everything of the involvement of the staff or even the community. That's why I got the number of how many participants for cleaning community, because I keeping record. And then how we are engaged with our associate, of course, social media. We have the HR Facebook, we have that, everything that we are doing, we take picture and we show them, oh, this is good, this is this and that, to make them involved. And then we also select like a sustainability ambassador, you know, to select among themselves that who are very well and then involved with our activity, and then let them be a role model of the hotel to be an ambassador. Thank you so much.
Thank you, all our speakers, for sharing your insights and some of your creative approaches as well as challenges. So let's go to our next question by Sophie.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for this answer. I'm sure that they are of particular interest for all the teachers and trainers in the audience, and I believe that they will be even more curious to hear your feedback on the next question, which is, can green skills be an employability asset for young workers? And I would like actually to ask this question to John.
Yes, 1,000% yes. It's the future. If you're working for Banyan Tree or Kiri or ourselves or Minor, Alicia, Nick and I, we learned as we went along. I think we, as I say, it was part of something. We all had other careers, but we got involved in sustainability, and we're still learning. We need the help of young professionals to come and push us in the right direction. To actually help us do these things, because as we've all pointed out, it's a long process and we haven't got there yet. So we need the professionals to come and back us up, to help us and take over from us as well, to manage the change. And also, as I pointed out earlier on, even if you don't work for a Banyan Tree or a Kiri or a cutting edge company, customers are demanding sustainability from the places they go on, from the companies that they use. Investors are demanding sustainability from the companies that they buy the shares in. Lenders are demanding sustainability from the companies that they lend money to. And even if you like a pure business company, or you work for a pure business company who hitherto had no outside interest in sustainability, they're going to have to learn about it, and learn about it very, very fast. Otherwise, they won't be able to do business. And quite apart from anything else, again, in the end, it's saving the world also. So yes, we need young professionals, and the future is yours. And everyone's going to need to know how to do it. So if you already do, you will be a step ahead of your competitors for any position.
Thank you so much, John, for sharing your very bold opinion. Ayako, would you like to ask the next question?
So our next question, this is for you, Alithis. So you've shared with us the view that it's important for your employees and staff members to have a good understanding of sustainability issues, as well as share the commitment that the company has in terms of sustainability. So based on this, do you think that it's important for tourism schools to be training their students in sustainability?
Thank you for the question. When Sophie contacted me, something come to my mind. This is a must, because several times I do the presentation at the vocational school, and I have opportunity to go to do the curriculum development with the school. And then I don't see this issue put into the curriculum. And then something come up to my mind. Wow, if we have a student who understand about the, for example, electricity reduction, my work would be easy. Because at the moment, for example, I want to talk to my technician. Hey, I said, our goal, we have to reduce the electricity by 5%. And then they cannot come up with the idea, how I'm going to do it? How? Then if the school put this in curriculum, it don't have to be long. It don't have to be long process learning. It can be 1 semester or 2-3 months, to let them understand that what you are going out to the workforce, everything you do, it will impact to the environment and the community. That's the issue. It's very lucky I'm here, and then I get the knowledge and idea, and then in the future, of course, I would share this to the school. Then we need to put it into the curriculum. Then the person that who I am going to select it, if you experience the sustainability or environmental activity with the school, I can be considered. This is a plus point for them, then I can consider hire you as an easily. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your
Yeah.
encouraging words. Nick, I would like to ask you also to comment on this question. Do you think it's also important for tourism schools to be teaching about sustainability?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think if you just look back to the last question, all three of us mentioned that it's a long process. And, you know, unfortunately at the moment, as the saying goes, it's a lot harder to teach old dogs new tricks. You know, we are in a position now where we are trying to change the mindset of the staff who are with us now, and obviously trying to find the right staff to bring in. I absolutely think it should be a core subject at any tourism school. You know, the fact that they study it, they join a new company, and they will bring ideas of sustainability with them from their education to the companies. They will see the little gaps, like was just mentioned. You know, they'll see the little gaps instead of trying to work out on the spot how to reduce electricity by 5%. They'll see it before you even ask them, and they'll say, hey, why don't we do this? And we make these changes. At the moment, you know, if I'm trying to hire someone and it really doesn't matter which department that they're in, I'm either to know whether or not they're sustainably focused or sustainably minded, I need to interview them, and I need to just hope that, you know, like John mentioned, that their background is something to do with sustainability. You know, I either have to look at, you know, someone from a tourism school or a business school, sales, whatever, and hire them, hoping that they are sustainably focused, or I have to go the other way and I have to look at someone who potentially, you know, worked for a social enterprise, worked for an NGO, someone who I know from their history is going to be sustainably focused. But then I'm wondering, well, what do they know about the tourism industry, and how are they going to work in the sales team? Do they have the skill set for that? So if you can get to a point where, you know, the sustainability and these green skills are taught as a subject in the tourism schools, and I look at a resume and I can see that they've been to this school and I know that they've got this course, I don't have to worry about it. I know that they've been through that system and that they'll be able to contribute to the company.
Thank you for your answer as well. Yeah, I see a lot of questions already.
Indeed. Thank you again, Alicia, John, and Nick, for your sharing. And now we are going to give the audience the opportunity to ask you some questions. So, dear participant, please use the chat function to submit your question, but I see that some of you already did. So let's start with a first question from Ha from La Boulangerie Française in Ho Chi Minh City about sustainable development. She is asking, what are the new skills or requirements for staff who enter into the tourism industry? So what would be the skills that you would be mainly looking for in terms of sustainability? And well, I think that this goes actually to all the three speakers. So anyone who wants to share, please go ahead.
I can go first. Sorry, Nick.
That's okay.
As a HR and learning, I would like to see not the new technique of from the student. I want to see the understanding and then behavior, because we can train them later on regarding to our concept, but the understanding how you switch off the light, not using it, how to not turn on the water tap during you brush your teeth. This is something that's simple that they should understand first. Then we can build up the skill along the way they are working with us. Because I would say it took me 13 years to work on this. It's not the easy thing like in the school that they can teach everything. They have to hand on with everything that we are doing in the hotel. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I could just echo a little bit there. I think it really is about the mindset.
Yes.
You know, if they've been through that study, if they've been through that program, they go into that tourism industry, whether it's in the hospitality or in the DMC world or travel agency, and they have a view on travel that fits. It's even for our agents back in in the US or UK, if they're looking at a product list, and they see it's that ability to look at a product list, see that there are elephant camps in Thailand that they might go and visit, and that a red flag is being waved in their mind, and they're saying, right, well, I need to know that this is a legitimate business and it's being, the animals have been tracked correctly and what, whatever else. So there are specific skills, but I think more of it is more that analytical mindset, that they look at each of the processes in their department. How can they make changes that are going to make it more sustainable?
Thank you very much. And as a quick follow-up question, still from La Boulangerie Française, if sustainability is a part of the curriculum, but the school is not widely recognized for its sustainability program, how can students showcase this in their CV?
I mean, to me, it would be write down the different courses that you took within that. I don't care which university you went to, but if you can show me that the different topics that you've been studying along the way, or the different certifications that you had, or the different work experience that you had through that course, that's what matters. I don't care which university you've gone
to. Then I would like to add this. I think in every country they have the community initiative. For example, in Laos, we have the zero plastic free community. This is for the young people. Like for us in Luang Prabang, we have Trash Idol, which is we are the co-founder of the Trash Idol. The student can involve with that activity, be a volunteer of that community activity, and then they can add their involvement in the CV. It don't have to be all the time at the school. I know that maybe the school, it might be limited, because I have our volunteer is from the university to join our Trash Idol group to go out to clean the community every month. And then they're also involved in organizing the event with us. This is something that the student can look into it, not only just study in the classroom or in under any curriculum. I do agree with Nick that it doesn't matter from which university, but if the student showcase that they are part of any activity in the community. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have now two questions which relate more to partnership, and I think that you already touched upon this point a little bit during your presentation. So the first question comes from Mr. Sotti from Paul Dubrul. Should we work with local government to put in place policies and rules, or rather work directly with the public and private businesses to show the good example? And then another question that is coming from Walan Sharif from Maya Idol University, who is actually asking, how should we educate also our customer to take better care of the environment?
I mean, it's my turn, so I'll take the first one. It's a tough one, though. I think both. We definitely need to work with the government. We definitely need to work with the public. But at this stage, and again, it's why we need the training and why we need the personnel on board to take us to the next level. At this stage, because to a certain extent, at least in Southeast Asia, it seems that both the government and the public are a little bit becoming, or even look, it doesn't even have to be Southeast Asia, look at COP26. Governments are being slow to react. We need to lead the way. We need to be able, as companies, to say, or as operations, as hotels, wherever we are, to say, this is what we've done, this is how we're able to do it. These are standards we suggest. We would like you to be able to, at the moment where it's market driven, we have a competitive advantage because we are doing these things. The market are looking for these things. It's costing us money. It means that we're more expensive to run. We would like you to then move these, as a government, use your power to enforce a basic level of what we as companies are doing on, if you like, our competitors, in order to raise the standard of their destination. For instance, one of the things I would like to see our local government do in the local village is ban plastic from the foam boxes from the food retailers. It's something that could be relatively simply done. It's something we are driving through the hotel, in that if our team order food in, we're actually providing them now with grass, so sugarcane boxes. We would like to see that move through. So now we've made it happen successfully in our little small microcosm. We can go and talk to the local authorities and say, it's going to be better for your destination, more guests will come. Can you please put this regulation in place? So yes, we need to do both, but at the moment, the way things are, because we're in a position to, I think we need to lead the way.
Anyone else would like to react on John's comments?
I totally agree. I would like to share what we are doing. We try to be part of any government activity, even the meeting, even be the trainer for the government officer. This is one thing that we can't, as I mentioned already, all of this, we cannot work alone. We cannot leave it to the government. We have to work hand in hand, partnership with the government. Otherwise, what our CSR concept, we cannot drive without the government support or without the stakeholder support. No, everyone has to be involved with that. And then to write up a policy, I was sure that all the country have that. But how to make it work, we have to work hand in hand with the government. Yeah, agree. Thank you.
Okay, and then what about the second question, which is more about engaging customers and also promote more responsible behavior from their side?
I mean, yeah, I'll start on this. I think from our perspective, certainly as a B2B inbound operator, first of all, you know, it's the agents that we work with. We're definitely seeing a trend that they are becoming more sustainably conscious as well. But also, you know, if they work with Kiri Travel in Vietnam, they sell Kiri Travel products. So what we make available to them is what they're going to sell. So again, it's, you know, very similar to the last answer. It's down to us as individual organizations to be as sustainable as possible, you know, and to really kind of have this as a focus. And therefore, you automatically change what the clients are able, or what the travelers are able to do. You know, so I think that's absolute key. Yeah.
Okay. Any additional comments? Oh yeah, go ahead.
I would say we try to make our staff to be the ambassador of sustainability, not only because most of the time I'm not talking to the guests. I'm back of the house, right? And then the storytelling is very important. For you know, you are telling the what you are doing, because sometimes the guests who are staying with us only 3 nights, and then during the 3 nights they have the full schedule. They don't have time to involve with the activity. It's very limited. Then when you are rooming the guests, for example, our staff need to explain how we get the eco bag, because our eco bag, we are selling our recycled waste. And then we use that money to make the eco. This is something that we can cascade and then showcase what we are doing on the sustainability. Anything that in the room, for example, amenity, you know, for example, like in before we are use the plastic cotton bag. Now we are using the wooden bag. This is something that you can show that, hey, we are sustained. Now, when they are use the bata or bed sheet, they have the sign for, okay, if you don't want to to clean your bed sheet or to change your towel, you have to hang this signage on your bathtub. This is something that our staff need to educate our guests when a guest come to our hotel. What we are doing is that we have to train our staff to be a storyteller, to tell the story that what we are doing. Thank you.
I mean, I think what you just said there, you can kind of spread that certainly within the F&B and hospitality world. You know,
yes,
just don't give people an option. You know, like instead of having the water tissue towel things that you have in the little packages, just don't give it to them. And if they ask for it, you give them an alternative. It's the same with the plastic straws in the glasses. You know, just don't even give it to them. Don't even give it an option. Just don't even let them have it. And if they ask for one, well, then give them a metal straw or a bamboo straw or something else that's an alternative. So, and over time, that just becomes norm and they don't even think about it. You know, we were drinking liquids a lot longer than we were having straws. So we were fine before it and we'll be fine after.
Thank you so much. I see that there are there is in the chat box different comments related to plastic waste and single-use plastic. So as a conclusion, I would like to ask you, because you all have been working with your staff trying to have them reduce single plastic use. So can you give one very concrete tip for our schools to work on that topic with their students as well? So one good practice that you do that was successful to encourage your staff to reduce single plastic, and if possible, one from each of you.
Okay, I can go with very good one at the moment. When our company had a goal that we are going to reduce the single-use plastic, and then we list down what we have in each department. Okay, and then we target what we are going to do first. Then I target the plastic straw. Okay, plastic straw. And then at the moment, during that time in 2018, the bamboo straw is on the fashion. You know, everywhere you go to bamboo straw. Then we also purchase bamboo straw from the local market, and then it's come up. We are concerning with the hygiene, and then I started. Oh, I'm afraid that the guests were concerned. You know, afraid of using it. They might be concerned with the hygiene, and then I'll start looking around the hotel, because we have a lot of banana leaf around the hotel. And then they come up with the banana leaf straw. Now, we don't use the bamboo straw. We just use banana leaf straw. And then we're able to reduce we stop using the plastic straw 100%. Then from banana leaf straw, we don't even buy anything because we grow at our garden. This is something that we look into. Okay, save cost, the staff happy. This is the new thing that this is really signature for our hotel. When you come to our hotel, you will use the banana leaf straw, not the paper straw, not the metal straw. This is something that we, our staff, that very proud of it. And then we see that we reduce the cost a lot with buying the plastic straw. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any additional tip from Nick or John?
Yeah, well, John's showing it right there. I was just about to say.
What is that?
we gave all of our staff refillable bottles.
Okay.
We joined, and this is something that, you know, whether you're at schools, universities, whether you're a business owner, there are organizations and groups that actually they set up water refill stations across countries. So there's a few we worked with. We actually helped to set up the Refill My Bottle in Vietnam, working with the Impact Vietnam group. We actually kind of took that on to kind of spread the word. So I think there are about 300 now refill stations around the country. So there are initiatives like this all over the world. One thing I would just say is that we do have to remember that as much as we talk about changing people's attitudes towards travel, there are a lot of people out there who are already very, very sustainably minded when it comes to travel. We looked at the idea of giving every single one of our clients a refillable bottle when they arrived into Vietnam so that they didn't use plastic bottles. But, especially if you're looking at in the US, I mean, there is not a household in America that doesn't have about 30 refillable bottles because they get given them from Starbucks, from every other gym, every business that they go to, they get a free water bottle. So, we can also cut down, it might be a more sustainable option than using plastic bottles, but the more stainless steel bottles that we create, we're also still, adding to that pollution. So know your audience, know your clients, and find a solution that's really going to fit for them.
Thank you so much. John,
And having given Nick his cue, that was yes, I went around the office and I literally got the drinking bottles from the team here, so that's good. And I'm going to have to steal Kun Alitit's plastic banana leaf straw idea at some point. You have to show me how you do those. So I've got to come up with two more. The first one I'm thinking of, and it actually makes me feel it ties in again because we're here on the top of the Mekong here in the Golden Triangle, a long way north of Luang Prabang, and of course even further north of Vietnam. But we still get a lot of, when the river floods, the Mekong floods or the river Wurrong, the Ruak floods, we get a lot of plastic waste on our land. It just floats in. So one thing we do that has actually, I think, helped change behavior to a certain extent is arrange for the team to go out and we clean our grassland where the elephants live. And the first time we did it, we just put everything in a bag and we shifted it to the place where the government would take it away and put it in landfill. And we thought, well, we didn't think we'd done a good job, but that was all we expected of the team. The second time we separated the waste and we sat around and we spent a long time and we sent what we could to recycling, and we did, and I oversaw it, and the management, the sustainability committee were there and cracking the whip, if you like. The third time we did it, even before we started cracking the whip, the team had emptied the bottles and had emptied the bags and started separating. So a lot of plastic bottles that would eventually, if we let them go, flow down past Maison Suvarnabhumi and flow down to the Mekong Delta in Vietnam, we've managed to take out. But most importantly, as far as I'm concerned, the team automatically started separating and recycling. Oh, there we go. And we have a photograph. Oh, I can't do that because it's blurred. A photograph of that automatically happening there. The second thing that we've done, I referred to earlier on, that it's been something I've been wanting to do for years, but we've managed to just do it with our new sustainability committee, which has become fine. We've had one for a long time. It's finally become effective, but is that we have about 120 team members living on site here. And when they order food from the local village, they order it to come in. As I said earlier, we've given the suppliers biodegradable boxes, and we've now managed to ban styrofoam from site. So the team are learning that if they order, if they order from somewhere that doesn't bring it in a biodegradable box, we haven't yet done it, but they're under severe threat of having to eat out by security rather than back in their own rooms. So that slowly is beginning to change the way the vendors in town think, because they get more business if they have the biodegradable boxes, but also the way the team think. There's a reason for it, and they're moving forward. So those are my two concrete things that we do: involve the team in the cleanups, as we all do, I think, but then also involve them in the separation, and eventually they will learn, and hopefully they then separate the waste in their own private lives. That's the next step which we're working on. And then secondly, with a little bit of carrot and stick, work out ways that you can help local vendors become more sustainable and get more business, in our case, by giving them biodegradable boxes or selling them biodegradable boxes to then bring back to our team. Thank you.
Yeah, can I just add there as well? I mean, John, both of you actually mentioned the same idea, talking about sharing your plans for the straws. We can't all do this on our own. At the moment, what we're doing is relatively niche. I mean, you look at, say, in Saigon, for example, when I was living there, you had competition between restaurants and cafes who were trying to sell bamboo straws and sustainable packaging, and I'm like, guys, There's three of you, there's three shops in the entire 12 million people living in Saigon trying to sell this stuff. Stop competing with each other, work together, order things together, share those costs, because until what we're trying to do becomes the norm, we're not in competition, you know. So you two, my guest speakers as well, like sharing ideas about how to create these straws. That's what we should be doing, and that's the same for universities, for schools. You know, don't try and do it all on your own. Try and get some partners to do it with you.
Thank you so much. And apparently straws are inspiring a lot of people, because in the chat box I see that someone is recommending morning glory stamps for the straws. So another idea. Well, time is running out, so unfortunately we have to conclude this panel discussion here. Again, I would like to thank our speakers for sharing their time and knowledge with us today, and to Ayako for co-facilitating the session with such talent and enthusiasm. So it's time to wrap up, and as a conclusion, I would like to just share a few takeaways from the discussion that we had. So the demand for sustainable tourism operations is increasing, and it comes from various sides, from investors, from customers, and sometimes even from the communities where tourism companies operate. And a key challenge that companies face in making their operations more sustainable is the staff limited knowledge on the issue. Tourism and hospitality schools have a role to play in addressing such knowledge gap by increasingly integrating sustainability considerations in their training. And in doing so, they can give their own students an advantage in terms of employability when entering the job market. So, dear participants, it has been a pleasure to discuss on this topic with you today. We hope that this session will inspire you to continue working in that sense in your respective schools. And before we close the session, I would like to also thank our partners, the French Development Agency, the Global Sustainable Tourism Council, and Destination Mekong, and all the people who worked behind the scene and contributed to the success of this workshop, especially Simon, Kwechi, and Tao. I also would like to thank all of you for joining us today. I hope to see you again soon for other ASSET-H&C's activities. Please note that the recording of the session will be made available on our YouTube channel, and we will send you the link shortly. So I wish you a nice end of the day and a nice weekend. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.